Oh, hello. I didn't see you there. What are you doing here? On my YouTube channel. Watching me on YouTube. If you don't already know me, my name's Amy. I am the owner to a wonderful snake called Emmett. He couldn't be with us right now because he's currently in shed. However, there's a beautiful artistic depiction of him up there. This video has been in the making for way too long. I originally wanted to have his enclosure done by Christmas 2021. I believe as you're watching this, it is August 2022, so time management is not my speciality. This is a video all about how I made it. I know it's a bit of a long one, but stick around to the end to see the final result because it came out so pretty, and I'm gonna link all of the stuff that I used for it in the description, so if you're also making an enclosure, you can use that stuff. But before I show you all of the cool stuff I bought for him and how I put it all together, I think you should see what his enclosure looked like before, so you can really get a sense of the upgrade that this boy has received. Okay, so this is Emmett's current enclosure. We basically got this old storage box and we drilled a bunch of air holes into both sides of it, and there's a hole back there for the wires that are coming out of it. And this is a perfectly fit for purpose enclosure, but now I can afford a bit more. And now that he's getting quite a bit bigger, his enclosure is going to fill out this whole space. So once you take the lid off, which if you're going to make a enclosure like this, remember to always buy one with positive locks. I just painted the blue handles black. It's kind of rubbing off now. This cave that he's currently in is really spacious, and as you can see, it's taking up a lot of the floor space. Okay, update. It clearly wasn't spacious enough because Emmett managed to bust out of there like he was the freaking Kool-Aid man. And now I won't be using that cave in his new enclosure, and I can't really recommend it unless you have a smaller animal, I guess. But you'll see what cave I do end up using. So back to me. So this is heated with a heat mat that's under there. And of course, always controlled by a thermostat. But it just doesn't get warm enough. You'll see on the thermostat, I've got it turned up to the highest it goes, which says 34. Yeah, 34 would be a good temperature for it to be at, but if we get out temperature gun, see it's really only getting to 28 in there, which is safe, he's fine. But I'm also hoping with this new build that it's going to be a bit more effective. He has this log, which he was absolutely obsessed with when he was younger. He's getting a little bit big for it, but the other thing about it is that if he hides in it, I physically can't get him out. He has this old fish tank rock, because I wanted something rough in there for him to be able to rub against when he was in shed. He has that old fish tank plant from a fish tank we had. Never had fish in it. Gave up. This piece of wood that was for climbing when he was younger. This is his cold cave, pretty standard. Another fish tank plant. This is a really nice water bowl. I really like this. I used to have right here, I don't know if I kept it. No, I don't think I kept it, but this would serve as a good example. The one that he had most recently was a lot bigger. This was from when he was a really small baby, but I used to have these tubs with a hole cut out of and then filled with sphagnum moss as a humid hide. So that used to be in this corner here, which is just kind of empty now. He outgrew it because he's a big boy now. Okay, so here he is, disturbed from his nap. Say hi, Emmett. Hello. This light, by the way, is a UVB light. It's mostly there, honestly, just to have some light on the enclosure. I mean, there's a debate about if ball pythons need supplementary UVB at all, but I like him to have a little bit. Try and get him to stretch out at all. Yeah, he'll always go straight back in his cave because he loves that cave. He loves that cave. He's big, is my point. He's longer than the length of it now, which according to advice from Snake Discovery, for example, you want to have a minimum of the snake being able to stretch out along 2 walls. For me personally, I want him to be able to stretch out all the way along 1 wall. Now, the next thing I want to do is give you guys a haul of all of the stuff I've bought for his new enclosure, and then we're going to put it all together. Okay, so before we put together the enclosure, I thought it would be fun to show you guys a little haul of what I got for it before it gets covered in dirt and snake poo. Ew! Okay, the first thing is kind of big. I don't know if it's gonna fit.
That's what she said!
In the frame. Here it is. So this is a background from Exoterra. When I saw it, I really thought that it would be made of something heavy. I don't know why, but I thought it would be made of plastic or something. But it's actually completely, I don't know if you see, it's completely made of foam. Oh, it's got cobwebs on it, that's embarrassing. Up close, it's not that realistic looking because you can actually like see, if you look right here, like these weird little like nipply textures all over.
Big
nipply textures.
Child. Anyway, so.
But hopefully, oh, sorry about that. But hopefully you'll agree that it looks pretty realistic from further away. Yeah, we're gonna have to trim it down to fit the back of his enclosure, but it was pretty close. I'm pretty happy with this. It's like not that interesting. I found it hard to put together a cohesive theme for his enclosure of whether it's gonna be
like old bricks or I quite like grey and really rainforesty natural.
They're not arboreal snakes, they're very much like living underground snakes, or well, in other people's houses, such as termites and small rodents. But Emmett is obsessed with climbing on these, I don't know how I could describe them to you, maybe I can insert footage, but like these little lips of the storage bin that I made into his first enclosure. He just loves to balance on them, but he's way too big and he just falls. But I know that he likes climbing, so I'm gonna put some stuff in there and see if he'll use it. And hopefully he won't constantly smack to the ground in the middle of the night and give me a heart attack with these. So what else have I got? Another slightly boring thing. I shouldn't say that, should I, in my own videos? Oh, another really exciting thing is this cloth heat mat. I already had a heat mat for him, but it was like half the size of this. I'm still not 100% on how I'm going to install this. I've seen a lot of things saying that if you put them inside of the enclosure, they would burn themselves, which would really only happen if your thermostat had a malfunction or you didn't use one, in my opinion. But I don't want to put it underneath his enclosure because with this round cave, I just think that it's going to be too thick and he's not going to get heat, and he loves heat mat, and it's not that warm in my room. I've been really struggling to keep temperatures suitable, to be honest, with the heat mat I currently have in my room. I don't think it's ideal. Then with temperature bulbs, and those seem really stressful and potentially dangerous, and you have to put a whole cage around it, and it's like, I'm not sure. My current thing is I'm going to put the heat mat in the enclosure, but I'm also going to put some kind of mesh maybe on top of it so that he can't touch it, which really, I think he found quite thick layer of substrate because anyway, that's the heat mat. This, it's a bit of old bark, which surprisingly I did buy at a shop. I didn't just find it on the ground, but I probably could have. But I want to use some pieces like this, maybe this way, I'm not sure which way around, but maybe this way, to make some shelves. I have got, this is just one of the bags, I have another one, but 20 litres of, of cocoa soil substrate, which I really love because it can hold humidity, but it doesn't have to make it overly humid, and it's just nice. And it doesn't get stuck in everything really uncomfortably, because I used to have him on Aspen and that was just a nightmare. Okay, so as well as all of the cocoa soil, I have got some rainforest terrarium substrate. He is not a rainforest creature, nor will I be using it for maximum moisture retention. But I thought it would be fun to have some different textures in there, so I might just put some of this, make a little path or something. It's basically just bark chips. That's all it really is. I don't know what kind of bark. Sometimes they're orchid bark. It just says bark and moss mixture. So that's what that is. Sphagnum moss, which hopefully is still live as it says it should be. I have had it for a while, but it's sealed up. It's looking a little bit yellow in some places, but we got some green. This I'll probably be putting in a specific hide to make it his humid hide so that he has an easier time when he wants to go into shed. Because that works really well for me rather than trying to monitor the humidity of the whole thing. And he seems to get on with that no problem. So I think that's everything in the way of substrate. I also have some decorative moss. I don't know if you can see. It's in this weird sort of old bag because I did not buy it for this. I bought it to decorate my corkboard over there, which I'll put a picture of here, hopefully. Hopefully you're looking at it right now. Just because I really like naturey looking things. This is a little bit unusual, but it's pretty much a bearded dragon hammock. I think you can see the little dude on it there. And I know this seems a bit random, but I was watching Taylor Nicole Dean's channel. Shout out to her. You go, girl. And she just happened to put one in one of her ball python enclosures because she had it spare and thought it would be, I don't know, maybe he would use it. And he did. She said he used it all the time. And I know Emmett loves to sit in stuff up high. So I'm going to see if I can put that up in a way that he could go in it. For the background decoration, I have these. This is the Exoterra waterproof jungle vine. Again, this is for lizards, as we can see by the chameleon on the front. But I really just wanted to use these for decoration. I think especially if I stick some of that cute green fake moss onto it, this will really make the background pop a little bit more, and I can sort of wind that into some of its crevices. So there's that. Okay, this is one of the things I'm most excited about. My boyfriend got me this for Christmas from our local exotics shop. It's a cat skull, not a real one. Don't tell my cats about it. But yeah, it's a model of a cat skull with some fake foliage on it, and I just think it's really cute. And he could actually squeeze into some of these crevices. He should, but most of the skulls are too small for him to even try. So yeah, I think this is super cute. So this is definitely going in there. We also have these, which I got from Etsy. They're kind of flesh coloured. Don't come at me saying they're phallic, but these are basically just tiny little decorative mushrooms. I'm sure he'll just knock them over constantly. I also got him some plants. So this one is a fern, and one thing I really like about this is the way that you can bend out all of the leaves and kind of position it how you like. And I love ferns. It is my favourite plant. At some point, one day I want to make him a real bioactive enclosure with plants and maybe, you know, springtails, isopods, although I had woodlice in my snail enclosure and they kind of got really out of control. Maybe I'll get fancy isopods, because apparently the expensive ones are always the ones that don't actually want to breed, and yeah, we had an overbreeding problem. For the moment I'm doing fake foliage because I don't really have the time to put into keeping up with a bioactive enclosure. One of my favourite things about Emmett as a pet at the moment is that he's reasonably low maintenance. So there's that. And this one, which I think is really nice, it's a plant with some red leaves, which is, I've hopped outside my comfort zone. I've added in another colour. Normally I'm green everything, as we can tell from the look. But this has little fake dewdrops on it. They're just like clear glue, I guess, but I actually think that they look really nice and lush. And I think this is a great addition. These are both a massive step up from the old plants that he had in his enclosure, because they were like some grimy old ones from someone's fish tank.
Look at that. Would you look at that? Filthy.
They weren't even supposed to look good outside of water. Last but certainly not least, one of the things I'm honestly most excited about I got this for my birthday, I think, from my sister. It says Emmett, ball python, Python regius, which is the Latin name. Although I thought it was Python regis without the U, but I might be wrong. Date of birth January 2020, and then people think this says established. It's meant to be like estimated, because I did ask for his hatch date, but the people who sold him to me never got back to me. But they said that he was either born January 2020 or December 2019. So I just put him in January because my birthday is in January. And I was like, well, we can match. Sex, male. Sorry, I just laughed because I said the words. And morph, banana butter. And then here is a gorgeous picture of him that my mum took without telling me. It's a birthday surprise. And here's a little map of the region of Africa he's from. And this dark grey wood perfectly matches the actual wood grain of the enclosure. So I think this is going to look really cute on the outside. So that is pretty much the whole of the stuff I got for it done. The next thing we've got to do, I think, is going to be trimming the background and adding the shelves. So I will see you then. Okay, so this is how the enclosure arrived to my house, flat packed, IKEA style. We love to see it. As you can see, it has these kind of ugly little vents, but they slot in super easy and, you know, good for purpose. It did actually arrive with these little dents, which kind of sucks, but we were able to place them out of sight. I'm not saying this was Internet Reptiles' fault, probably the delivery company, but yeah. So then me and my dad got to work assembling it. Amazing construction team that we are. I'm sorry to both him and you for the his butt heavy shots. Here's me just sort of screwing in the things, bare minimum really. Not going to get an award in cinematography, but then we just slid the glass into place and it was ready to go. Okay, so Emmett's down here on the floor with no heat mat, so we'll have to try and get that set up reasonably soon, but I think it'll be fine. It's quite a warm day. And it's time to clean this. Wait, I want to do a cool transition. I don't know if I can hold my camera still enough. Okay, so this is what we have so far. As you can see, we've got the shelves in, and this one's kind of just for decoration, but these ones he should be able to climb up onto. Okay, that looks a little wiggly, but hopefully it'll be okay. And he's got the hammock up here. So now it's just time for me to put everything in. Okay, so here I'm just taking the vines and kind of imagining what position I want them to be in. I want them to sort of hang so that he can explore on them. So I'm measuring that up. Then ensued a long and arduous battle between me, this vine, and clippers that were not fit for purpose whatsoever. I really did think I would win at this point coming up, where I actually managed to get through the tough skin and reveal the wire. But then the last drop of feminism in me evaporated and I had to take it to my dad to do it. Here is a completely undeserved look of achievement for the vine being cut in half. And then I got to work positioning it. Thrilling stuff. The following footage may be painful for the handy among you. Watch how much of a struggle it is for me to cut a piece of duct tape. Look, I failed. I failed the first time. I had to go back. It's tape! After this towering hurdle, I used the tape to secure the base of the vine. And it's all going good. And then... Why? Why did I go through... Why did I do that? Moving on from that pointless detour. Okay, so I'm gonna put a small layer of... That's really noisy, sorry. Of hydro rocks in here at the bottom to make a... I mean, it will be really thin, but just to boost the substrate's height up a bit. And to make a little reservoir area in case there's too much moisture in there, because ball pythons do like a little bit of humidity, but where I live in England, is really quite humid already. For all you cereal fans out there, I'm sure the visual similarity between these and Cocoa Rocks has not escaped you either, and let's just be hungry for them together. Forbidden cereal. Next, I'm gonna put in cocoa soil, which was really hard to find, but it's what he has now, and I love it. I've muted a subversive joke about having intercourse with cocoa soil to mention Hydro Rocks cocoa soil. It is Cocoa Rocks. Is this a conspiracy? This is the cereal, right? Like, oh, if only they would sponsor me and my 25 subscribers. Next, I just put in some of his old bedding to make it smell a bit more like him. Fun fact, if you didn't already know, snakes smell with their tongue and not their nostrils. Next, I added the rainforest mix for a little bit of extra texture, and then I seemingly picked around for the tastiest grub. That smells so good. Now, it wouldn't be a YouTube tutorial video if I didn't whip out a hot glue gun, so here I go, decorating the vines with some lovely moss, and I'm about to show a great demonstration of how to use one. If you're wondering, it did hurt when I poked the hot glue. Ow, 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 ow. Oh. I also glued some moss to his little shelves, and I really think it all came out so cute. Then I covered up the brackets with some moss, and I just think this made such a difference. I love it. Finally, I'm adding in the big bits, the hides. This cat skull is so perfect because it conceals the ventilation holes without losing the breathability. And I'm just adding in those final details before we introduce it to the king, the judger. Emmett, the judger? The judge. And here I go, placing him in his new home for the first time. I wait with bated breath to receive his judgment. Okay, just a couple updates before we end the video. I got this new lock for the front of the enclosure, which is really cute and useful, and you can just buy them pre-made for this enclosure online. Since there wasn't enough floor space for a separate humid hide, I ended up using the system where when I see that he's going into shed like he was just there with the beautiful blue eyes, I just put some sphagnum moss, dampen it up and put his normal cave back on top, and that seems to work just fine for him. Finally, onto the shelf you've been waiting to hear about. As you can see, it's a bit worse for wear, although still attached at the moment, but I really think it's a matter of time. Thank you so much if you watched all the way to the end of the video. It's my first ever time filming or editing a YouTube video, so I know there's probably some mistakes, but I really enjoyed doing it. Please leave a comment down below of any other videos you might like to see with Emmett in, or just from me at all, and hit the subscribe button if you want to see those come true. And maybe a like as well, why not go all three? Just be generous. Okay, bye!